Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the SEL Day celebration. I'm Dr. Kevin Briggs, the Professional Learning Managing Coordinator at the Center for the Promotion of Social and Emotional Learning in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, and I will be guiding this session today. We are broadcasting 7 10-minute sessions every hour on the hour from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Sessions have already included systemic SEL, what is SEL, stress mitigation, resilience, and SEL, trauma-informed practices, and SEL. And now we are starting with the rest of our programming with this session, Building Rapport, and we'll continue on with adult SEL skill building, school climate and SEL, and integrating SEL into academics. For this session, we'll focus on building rapport. It may seem obvious that we need to build rapport with others so we can have healthy relationships. However, this can be easier said than done. There's a reason why building rapport is a part of multiple areas of research and industry, such as in the social sciences and in other fields pertaining to business and marketing. It can be quite challenging, especially when we don't know where to start. Therefore, it is quite common to focus on building rapport with others. As you can see in our overview here, we are going to have an introduction, which we're just about at the end of. We're going to discuss SEL competencies that are relevant to building rapport. We're going to focus in on people and settings in regards to building rapport. Then we'll have an activity and then our closing. Although this practice can fit well in most of the SEL competencies, it is clearly a facet of the relationship skills competency and perhaps a social awareness competency. From the moment we are born, we are drawn to others. There's likely an evolutionary purpose for this quality. But when we look inside of how to build relationships, we can see how complex it really is. Therefore, it can be helpful to identify and work on approaches that are most conducive to building positive relationships. For the purposes of this session, we will divide people into two general categories, extroverts and introverts. For extroverts, healthy relationship skills may come quite naturally due to their comfort with and interest in others. For introverts, it may be more of a challenge. Either way, I'm sure most of us know extroverts who could stand to polish their relationship skills and introverts who manage to make connections despite their inclination to focus on their inner world. A helpful exercise is then to identify a common approach both types of people use that seems to be effective. To build rapport, we can consider both formal and informal situations. A formal situation might include class time or attending a meeting, or something that is otherwise arranged for a purpose and appears to have objectives that did not have an interpersonal flavor. An informal situation definitely sounds more social, but in the truest sense of the term, it can be considered a context that has fewer or less objectives pertaining to formality. In a formal setting, we can do things like apply a sandwich technique in which we interact with others by starting with a compliment, getting down to business, and ending with optimism. In an informal setting, we may simply be passing someone in the hallway at in an extracurricular activity. Oftentimes, this includes quick check-ins via phrases such as, "Hey there, how are you?" A safe go-to in this context is to give the person your attention, ask follow-up questions, give a compliment, and generally keep it light. For our activity, we will reflect on both settings. Think about someone who is a neutral acquaintance. This is not a loved one, and this is not a challenging person, but a neutral acquaintance. Think of someone. For this, I often think of people I see at the grocery store, even the folks that are working there. Maybe it's somebody that you'd like to get to know better. What do you have in common with that person? For example, if it's somebody who you frequently see at the grocery store, even if it's somebody who's working there, what you have common is you both go there frequently, perhaps. How might the sandwich technique be helpful in your interactions about that commonality? Starting with a compliment, getting down to business, and ending in optimism. I often think of when I'm looking for something in a store, for example. It's a pretty common scenario. And I need help. And for a while, it was always really challenging for me to interrupt somebody's work, like at Home Depot maybe, and ask for help, because I didn't quite know how to start it and I didn't want to seem too abrupt. However, with the sandwich technique, we start with the compliment for that person, and that's both an icebreaker and a way to bring the connection closer. And then we ask what we want, and then we end on a positive note with some optimism. After you do that, think about someone with whom you have challenging interactions. This one's always a bit tougher. But again, consider commonalities. Think of ways you can give that person authentic attention. And then think of ways that you can ask questions. If you know you're going to interact with that challenging person, have some of these things ready to go. For example, in an educational setting, this oftentimes takes the form of a team meeting that comes up because of some kind of concern at the school, whether that be for a student or for a member of the staff. Does someone come to mind when you think of a challenging person? What approach that we just discussed and that you're looking at on the screen here might be best suited for interacting with that person? For example, I once had a challenging team member, or at least the relationship was challenging when I was a classroom teacher. And this technique, although I wasn't aware of it at the time, I was actually aware of it in writing, but not in speaking to one another. I just never made the connection. But this would have been very helpful. The sandwich technique would have been very helpful if I had deliberately done that with that person. So think of those things, the neutral person, the challenging person, what you can intentionally, deliberately do to build rapport with them, maybe in a more formal setting or a more informal setting. And when you're finished doing that, please feel free to share with someone close by if you feel comfortable doing so. I'll give you a moment or two to do that. Once again, this kind of reflection and discussion is something we can readily do as we get started with building rapport. So it's really important for this approach to think about it beforehand, how we're going to intentionally do things to build rapport. Challenging student, challenging friend, challenging colleague, neutral student, neutral friend, neutral colleague, somebody we don't know very well. We can do intentional things to build rapport. And when we build rapport, that is another gateway to more intimate relationships with those around us and maybe compassion. So thank you for joining us for this installment of our SEL Day celebration. We hope you benefited from this session and can continue to join us in our collective pursuit of the SEL competencies. For more information about SEL and ways to cultivate it within your organization, please visit us at www.selforpa.org. You can also reach us at www.sipsel.org, where you can find out information about SEL trainings and the 2023 National Social and Emotional Learning Conference being held May 15th to 17th in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Have a wonderful day.